have another money meet coming up. I can talk about that. Talk about maybe what my prep is going to look like for that, because guess I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I've been called out, so it'd be different if I hadn't been called out.
Yeah.
I wasn't maliciously called out. I did maliciously call out entire gyms.
Yeah. 4 whole gyms. And
3 whole gyms, and then 1 person from our gym.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 4 gyms, but I guess
No, I called out CrossFit 256, 4 Arrows, and Tally-Ho.
Yeah.
Yep. And I did send another personal message to Brett Dean, who hasn't been mentioned in a while.
Saying, hey, come on.
Yeah, find out. It was respectful.
Yeah.
Didn't have to be. Shouldn't have been, but it was respectful.
It's like, hey, we got a meet coming if you guys have any strong people that want to compete. Or did you say you guys stay ready, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. You got to stay ready. That's their claim to fame, like in the CrossFit community. What's funny about the Coleman CrossFit community running from this is like some of the biggest powerlifting communities in the state are ran out of CrossFit gyms.
Right.
So like, these are not people that should be running from it. Like Louis and Mark Bell put powerlifting on the map by teaching powerlifting in CrossFit gyms. Yep. So like, and in their creed, you know what it says? Play new sports often.
Yeah. New sports often.
Learn and play new sports often.
It's not a new sport.
Well, it's a new sport to them, and that's the point. You know what I mean?
But listen, we're worried about our minute
jack off and play pickleball.
My uncle loves pickleball, and I've never played it before, and he's just like,
it's probably really fucking fun.
Isn't it like tennis? But
yeah, it's like some like dumbed down, smaller version of tennis.
I know lots of old people love it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great. I'm sure that's probably a good. It's a good break from shuffleboard.
It's like, hey, I actually get to move around instead of pushing this disc. Yeah, that's cool.
Great.
That's for the active elderly. Oh.
The church that I attend sometimes has a pickleball league or something like that, or that have a pickleball day, I guess.
Maybe that's a church thing, because my uncle's church also has a pickleball league that they actively play.
Hey man, if it gets people moving, it's cool.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at pickleball.
No, but it is.
I am a little bit mad at the CrossFitters that they have it in their creed. Play new sports often.
Yeah. And
locally, I catch so much shit and get so much. They make us fucking choke on that shit so fucking much, and then they don't want to play new sports often.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is providing an opportunity. I even told one that I would do 4 lifts the night of, and I would go head to head on a CrossFit total, so I would add overhead press.
Yep.
CrossFit total squat, overhead press, deadlift, just to make them eat shit.
Yeah. So they won't show up.
And I started to give their best, doesn't matter who it is, a 100-pound handicap too. 100-pound handicap on, I ain't gonna lie to you, 100-pound handicap on CrossFit total is probably bold, because they do a lot more overhead stuff than we do.
Yeah.
But
you and your clients train a lot of overhead press.
If they beat me on overhead press, they're not going to beat me on squat and deadlift, so it doesn't matter anyway. Good thing it's a fucking total.
Yep. That's right. Oh,
it would be spicy to overhead press heavy after a heavy bench press, though.
Yeah, it would. But then again, do you have to? Is it set? Do you have to do bench and then overhead? Like
no, CrossFit total is only squat, overhead press, deadlift. I'm competing the powerlifting meet, though.
Oh, okay. And you're just saying
I would be willing to add that for them separately on a separate squat rack, just to test them on that too.
Right.
And that would pretty much leave me going and benching and then immediately going into overhead press.
Right.
But
that makes sense.
I would do it after my deadlift. I'd give them fucking time handicap and let them fucking press first if they wanted to.
Yeah. Fair.
Open invitation. I also told one guy that I'd like to get into hosting some Olympic, unsanctioned Olympic meets. And he did not respond to that.
Oh.
I was like actually kind of helpful. I'm trying to be helpful and like.
Right. Be like, hey, if you wanted to.
It was like, hey man, it'd be cool if we, got together and maybe you guys hosted a Olympic lifting meet and I co-host. It's cool.
Right.
I got experience judging and coaching that. So I won't mention his name because he's asked me not to, because apparently I'm the secret weapon, but I did pick up a CrossFitter this week and I'm specifically training him and the Olympic lifts.
Okay.
And it's fucking fun.
Yeah. I know you mentioned.
It's really fun.
I don't remember if you mentioned his name or not, but I do remember you mentioned that you were training somebody.
Just because.
No, I mean to me personally. Yeah. Like, I don't remember if you mentioned or not, but yeah. I remember you saying you were teaching somebody or training.
The dude's going to be a badass, to be completely honest with you. He's already a badass CrossFitter. He's got a good motor. He's a little annoyed that I've asked him to not Metcon on lifting days, but I feel like that's fucking reasonable because he's a 7-day-a-week dude.
Oof.
So
that's a lot.
So I just pretty much told him, I was like, there is no way you're surviving this program like post Metcon. And I was like, you have a lot of heavy back squats and front squats to do in an Olympic lifting program. Like, probably wouldn't tear my legs up the day before.
Right.
Probably wouldn't be running 5K or doing a bunch of fucking thrusters or something the day before you have a heavy front squat.
Right. Yeah. That would not be fun. I would honestly feel like just collapsing.
We'll get into that a little bit more into the episode because that's just an interesting topic. And we could potentially have a short one today. So, but yeah, we'll talk about how I've got that periodized, what plans I have for him, how I'm managing the Metcon, stuff like that too. So that sounds good. Is that a show before the show?
If you want it to be, yeah.
We have Basil Hayden's Old Fashions again because we just didn't feel like being different this time around. So
liquor and the additives, I suppose, were a little.
We're always going to have the liquor and the additives for
an old fashioned.
Old fashioned.
Mostly because it's super easy and super cheap.
And super delicious. I mean, this is fucking good old fashioned.
No, it is. It's good.
Fucking good. I think Basil's makes the best one, to be honest with you.
It's good. Yeah. I like it.
So it's the easiest drinking one because it's not super hot.
Yeah, it's not. It gets a little bit in your stomach, but
but
it's not like hot. It's just warm.
Yeah, it's a good whiskey. I do feel like the weather's too hot for this much whiskey, and I was kind of looking forward to something else. But in the same sense, I also didn't want to go spend money I didn't necessarily have on liquor just to have a fruity cocktail.
No, we could have done a pina colada, maybe something like that. But
we had stuff for margaritas again too.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe next time.
Well,
Tammy's coming, so she wants margaritas. So she said she was bringing stuff too, so she's got a plan.
She has a plan.
We
need to talk to Miss Tammy about what that day looks like because I mean that's a long day for her because it's gonna suck if she drives 2 hours for a 2-hour podcast to drive back home 2 hours. Yeah. So I'm gonna see maybe one of us needs to see if she wants to train with us or something like that day. I'm training late Saturday because I have clients at 9:30, 10:30, and 12. So looking like. I think I
won't be up until 12.
So, looking like I have one at 1. So, I figure maybe she can get with me and train at 2 for a couple hours. You train on Saturdays too, don't you?
No.
Well, you could postpone it for us.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be postponing my Friday. So it'd be like an accessory day. It wouldn't be that fun for you guys, but I'd be there.
But you'd be there. Yeah. That's probably the easiest thing to postpone too, because you have planned for equipment and everything.
Yeah.
Like your accessory day, it's probably an easier day to
change things up.
Yeah, to change things up.
It'll just be like...
You wouldn't have to change things up much anyway.
I don't know if they have a shoulder press machine.
We do. But our shoulder press machine or a chest press machine are plate loaded, but they're not unilateral, which I kind of fucking hate.
Okay.
That plate loaded incline is pretty badass though. I get a good fucking pump from it, but you're not training imbalances on it like you would.
Right.
A unilateral machine. So
it'd be all right.
It is what it is. But nevertheless.
Just one day.
That's the show before the show, guys. This is a Sip It and Rip It podcast. I'm Zach. He's Nathan. Follow us at Coleman_Barbell, at Nathan Skedios, and at Sip It and Rip It. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to us there. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Rate us 5 stars. Leave likes, comments. Tell us we suck. We don't really care. Just give us them 5 stars. That's what we want, baby.
Donate to our PayPal. We need some money for a new microphone.
We talked about a new microphone, and we talked about maybe a Mac Mini too.
Yeah.
If you gave us Mac Mini money, we would
buy.
There's no guarantee we wouldn't fuck it off on liquor, but
listen,
we would have good intentions to buy the Mac Mini.
Chris gives us enough money, or gives us enough liquor that I don't think we really need to.
Yeah, shout out to Chris Treese because he really does fund this show, and lately we're not even kidding. He's making this pretty fucking equitable for us for sure. So, because it's not uncommon for us to spend upwards not $100 a week, but it probably ends up being about $50 a week. You know what I mean? It's pretty common for me.
I don't know if I wouldn't say I spend that much. I feel like we spend more.
You spend a lot of time though, and that counts.
Yeah, no, I definitely spend tons of time on the podcast.
Time is money, son.
This is true. If you want to go by my hourly rate, I'm probably like $7,500 a week.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, we do it because people like listen to it. So and we want to make it pleasurable to listen to. Pleasurable. That's why we want money for a new microphone. So give us some money. Like,
you want to do some PR songs?
You can do some PR songs. I know I've got one, if not two, and they are Neutral Pelvis.
Neutral Pelvis.
That was one of my cues for squats. That was the first thing that pulled up.
So Neutral Pelvis is not the name of the song.
No. That would be an interesting song title, Neutral Pelvis. I feel like that could fit many different genres, but I feel like it would be an R&B song. I'll go with Heretic Anthem by Slipknot. I was listening to it. I can't remember what day it was. It was a deload, so I wasn't really like getting super pumped up, but I listened to it and I was just like, yeah, I'm trying really hard not to get pumped up, but Heretic Anthem by Slipknot is the chorus is just so good. Like, if that doesn't make you want to punch a wall, I don't know, man. Like, it's just fucking cool.
I'm gonna go real old school and not metal, not even rock.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go "I Wish" by Stevie Wonder.
Oh wow! Yeah, for a PR song.
That song fucking rips, dude. It seems like everybody forgets I'm a bass player first, so
that's fair. That is fair.
So, but "I Wish" by Stevie Wonder, fucking awesome song. I need to look up my second one. I just put my phone down.
That's good. I've got one more, and it is "Dragon" by Caliban featuring Johnny Davey.
Johnny Davey.
I love Johnny Davey.
Johnny Davey's awesome.
He's a great vocalist, and like he really came into his own after what was the name of Job for a Cowboys EP? Doom.
Yeah.
After Doom, after the pig squealing kind of died off, he's got a very good voice for it. I really like it.
Yeah, he's one of the more, in my opinion, was the first, like, you got these uber talented vocalists like Will Ramos and
Alex Terrible
and stuff like that. Johnny Davey was first.
Yeah, that's fair.
He did all that shit first.
2004.
Yeah, man. I mean, even they probably have the metal album of the year already.
Oh, really? Their newest one?
The newest one, yeah.
I don't know that I've listened to it end to end. I know I've seen some of the singles.
Nick Shins from Havoc plays bass for them, and he's so goddamn good. It's disgusting how good that guy is.
I liked his solo project, and I wish I could remember the name of it, but it was really good.
Did he not do... that name will come to me eventually.
It's not a solo project, but it's a project that he did away from Job for a Cowboy.
That name will come to me. It was quite a bit more techie.
It was.
Quite a bit more techie. Which is kind of crazy because new Job for a Cowboy is pretty goddamn techie.
Yeah.
So I'm having problems here. Finding my second one.
You weren't ready.
I was not ready. That's my bad, y'all. I'm sorry. Fuck it, we'll go real old school. Somebody was playing it in the gym the other day, and I forgot how much it fucking rips. But this is another one as a bass player that this was my education because one Ron Martini played bass for him, and they're fucking awesome. And that is "Dig" by Mudvayne.
Oh man, that's people make fun of is it Dig or is it? It is Dig that they make fun of, like with the
Barbara Dane. Yeah.
They're like, this song goes so hard. And he's like, eh. It's really funny, but it's
that song rips though.
It is a good song. Like that and Determined are the two Mudvayne songs if I'm in the gym I'm going to listen to. Those two are
that's fair. I like everything on the record that has "Happy" on it. I don't remember.
"Happy" is a good song. I really.
But I like and then the one before that had "World So Cold" and stuff like that on it.
That's a good album.
I'm trying to think. Is that the name of the album?
I don't know, but no. I actually just had
"The End of All Things to Come" is the name of the record, and "Not Falling," which was on a terrible horror movie called Ghost Ship. But "Not Falling" fucking rips too, man. I like
Mudvayne has a lot of good songs, to be honest with you. For new metal, they're kind of like
they was in the Slipknot vein, and they were quite a bit heavier than everything else in new metal.
That's true.
Nobody lasts in new metal like Deftones last. Mm-hmm. So much so that I think that they transcend. I don't even think that I could call them new metal. They've transcended that title quite a bit.
That's fair.
You know what kind of fucking rips too? And being honest, if you can get over actual Mickey Mouse vocals, because he really does sound like Mickey Mouse. Man, I've been listening to some old Limp Bizkit stuff lately.
You know, that's really funny.
Specifically the song Hot Dog. That fucking that guitar riff fucking kills though. Wes Borland is a good guitar. That whole band outside of Fred Durst is a good fucking band. John Otto's a good drummer. Sam Rivers is a good bass player. Wes Borland's a fucking awesome guitar player.
It's just funny because like most people like associate Limp Bizkit with Fred Durst. They're just like, because
you can't stop listening to the guy. It's just fucking God. He's a fucking heel if I've ever seen one. Like in the music industry for sure. But I mean that band's fucking good.
I mean, honestly, they've got. I was listening.
The musicianship in that band is fucking good.
What's really funny is I was listening to my Spotify on the way home on my liked songs, and I guess it randomly either I liked it one day or it just like popped up on my suggested or something. But Limp Bizkit started playing. I don't remember what song it was, and I was like, "Damn, I feel guilty for liking this."
It's like they're like Rage Against the Machine. If Rage Against the Machine was good musicians and kept politics out of music,
right?
I mean. People can say what they want to about Rage. Tim Comfort is an awesome bass player, but man, what's that fucking guitar player's name? He sucks balls. I can't lie to you.
The guy for Rage Against the Machine? Yeah. I don't know.
He played in Audio Slave with Chris Cornell too. His name escapes me because he's fucking useless. Like all the dumb fucking noises he made.
He really did. Just kind of like
don't get me wrong, everybody has some Rage Against the Machine they like. You're lying if you don't think you like a little bit of Rage Against the Machine, depending on the song. But that band, like, they take themselves so seriously, and they're just fucking Limp Bizkit for communists. At least Limp Bizkit knows they kind of suck.
Right.
Like,
didn't their newest album, they were like something about old people, they're calling themselves old people. Isn't that a thing off their new album?
Limp Bizkit? Yeah, absolutely.
I can't remember what it was.
They completely embraced being old.
Yeah, they were just kind of like, whatever. We're dad rock and we know it. Like
Wes Borland's still a weirdo, and it's fucking cool to see them live. So, but yeah, I mean, they were a great band. It's just if we could trade Fred Durst for anybody else, we'd be better off. And then Zach De La Rocca from Rage Against the Machine. I feel like he sings like he would talk to you, and that pisses me off to no end. Like so bad. It's so bad.
Just like super like righteous indignation, like pointing the finger at you all the time. Like
y'all don't know about fucking struggle. Y'all all fucking upper middle class kids that started a fucking shitty rock band because you like fucking old communist dictators. I still can't fucking think of that fucking guitar player's now. Tom Morello.
Okay.
That's his name. Yep. I can remember the bass player's name because he's kind of relevant, but
fair.
Fuck Tom Morello.
Oh man. You know, I was doing deload this weekend on my last day of deload. Well, not technically I missed my fourth day because I just didn't have time. The way my week was crazy. Which could have been a small talk, show before the show stuff. But anyway, during my deload, just because we're on the topic of music, I was listening to lo-fi for my entire squat day. So it was really like, it was nice because I wasn't up at all. I was just kind of going through the motions, and I felt like that's when you're deloading, you should be listening to lo-fi podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Joe Sullivan thing, but I can tell you I control that with Austin now to great success. Yeah. I think it fucking works. But I think that, last 8 weeks or so, you can probably see, I just simply rate mine like, we've talked about this before, but I rate those low, mid, high. Mm-hmm. Low means no fucking stimulants other than your coffee in the morning, no loud music, no gym hop, no ammonia.
Yep.
That also means no pre-workout, stuff like that. Mid means you can listen to whatever music you want to, not loud, just in the background. You can have an energy drink. High means you get pre-workout, gym hop, ammonia.
Whatever you want.
Whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, absolutely. So I just keep it like that because it keeps it simple. You know what I mean? You could probably get a lot more finite with that, but like,
I think
like with us, with those of you that are taking, like, I have a few of you that are taking nectar now. Like I could say low days, you don't get nectar.
Right.
I could say, you know what I mean?
Truthfully, I didn't take nectar on my
deload.
There's no reason to, I don't feel like.
But like we could get like really into that and say, hey, we're not, you know.
Yeah, just being hyper specific. But at the same time, becoming that hyper specific might
those of you that are using it are probably not gonna have pen, and I am injectable for an RP 7.
Right.
If it's an RP 9 day or 8 or higher,
right,
it's obviously a heavy lift that's important to our prep. All of them are important, don't get me wrong. But like, it's obviously like, hey, we have to pull in this is going to determine an opener, or it's going to determine like it's okay to have some hop. You know what I mean? But y'all are probably not wasting a nectar shot on, you know, your down weeks or something like that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
for the longest time, I was only doing nectar on my heaviest days, and I've started taking it like pretty much like weeks 2 and 3. Like first week, it's probably pretty low, so I don't really need it. Unless it's more of like a feel base. Like if I feel like I need it, I'll probably take it. And if I don't feel like I need it, I'm not going to bother. I'm really interested in trying this iridescence because I don't know if I've talked about it yet. I know I posted about it on my Instagram, but the interesting thing about that is it has, and I'm going off memory, so if I say something wrong, I apologize. It has bicarbonate, which is supposed to, if I'm remembering correctly, reduce lactic acid. It has injectable ATP in it, and it has there was something else. It has the citicoline and the carnitine in it, obviously, just like nectar. There was another thing I'm drawing a blank on the name of it, but basically what it does is it helps recirculate the ATP in your body. So basically, you just get supercharged after you take this injection. Ben Pollock was like, I felt like running through a wall when I took it. And I'm like, if Ben Pollock, who is a pincushion, felt like running through a wall after taking some of that, I got to get my hands on it. So I'm really excited to try it, but I probably won't try it for a while because I don't want to use it on something like an RPE 8.
You got your program today. You got some heavy lifts coming.
Yeah. In a few weeks. It probably won't be until I think it's whichever week I have 595 for 3. Well, I mean, even so, like I hit 605 for 3 on nectar with like more in the tank.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't necessarily know that I need it then. It might be kind of a let's just see how.
Do we have you in PR triple territory on deadlifts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think week 6. Week 6 would be, because 605 was a triple PR. I don't think I've ever pulled 605 for more than a single.
No, I think we have 615 and 635 coming.
I think 635 for a double was the most I've ever pulled, and it looked like dog taking a shit, like hunched over.
I do have him in rep ranges, so he's prescribing 1 to 3. So if he feels like shit, he will not go for 3. But still,
we're gonna get 3. We're in prep. When we get into prep, we're going to see some crazy stuff happen. My squat might not be anything crazy, but my bench and deadlift are going to carry my total. If I get a 600-pound squat, I think I will be close to 1,800 in my total.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
I'm being really aggressive, but I have a lot of confidence.
It was the most aggressive squat plan I've put you on, but it was also a 10% reduction because of our squat woes lately. So, which you didn't argue with me about. So apparently it was, the rep range will help build confidence on that too. Knowing that you don't have to have 3 will help a lot. I mean, and some of us just don't hit high reps very well. Joey being one of them, like Joey's probably a little short of you on squat, but has a really hard time repping over 450.
Yeah.
Like, but has been over 500 several times in his career. So like, you know, it just gets fucking heavy. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? It's just fucking heavy.
The biggest thing about it is long femurs. Like, and we were talking about that. We saw something recently where it was talking about you just train accessory movement much harder on your squat accessories than you do on anything else, because your squat volume when you have long femurs is just going to take a toll. It's just going to beat the shit out of you. So
I think we actually see progressing. I think I actually take a set away week 4 or 5. We take 1 drop set away from squat and deadlift. I think so. But we did that. We'll get into his more really. I guess I need to get in my week before we break down your program and what we're doing this week, but, or this block. But, my week was okay. I got a cracked rib though. So like I didn't hit volume on many things.
Yeah.
It hurts. I have a new low bar, a true low bar technique in squat now, that I have forced myself into largely because of the cracked rib. And then, just trying to find something more comfortable. And then we've actually been toying around with the idea of me going back to high bar, but with the rib cracked, high bar is pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because there's more upper back flexion than high bar. And I felt really, really strong. We don't know what it's going to, I didn't have to squat heavy this week. We don't know really what that's going to yield.
Yeah.
But to change that up, the first bench press day was atrocious because of the rib. I think I hit like 345 for a triple on regular bench, which is not good for me. And I think I was programmed for 5, so it was a pretty abysmal day. Had my overhead press on Wednesday. My last warm up was 185. It hurt like fuck, so I just did 2 drop sets at 155 and 135. That went well. I think I hit it for 12 and 18, so that wasn't the worst. Down week on deadlift, so I'd had like 6 sets of 2 at 405. It was really easy. And then I did hit 385 for a single on close grip, but that was again prescribed for 3 and didn't go. So just kind of is what it is.
For the record, if you have a client with a cracked rib, are you sending them home?
They are not lifting that week. Yeah, especially after this situation, 10 out of 10, you're not lifting that. You might get some all your machine based accessories.
Right.
If it's chest supported, if it's back supported, you have some type of something there to help you out, you're probably not lifting on it.
Right.
That's biggest thing is that I don't have good wind anyway, but it just basically took the wind out of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can't breathe super deep, stuff like that. It is getting better. As the trip, I mean, I close gripped heavier than I flat bench this week. So, I mean, you know what I mean? So it is getting better, but it's pretty fucking pain when it hurts, because it doesn't just hurt standing here. Like if I took a deep breath or coughed, it would hurt pretty bad. But like when it hurts, it's 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, feels like you're getting a fucking knife plunged into your lungs. You know what I mean? So it sucks.
You got an MRI on it or an X-ray of some sort?
No, it was deductive reasoning because I just didn't care to have an image. So what happened was it was just a nagging injury. I did it on lat pull down. Thought I had strained a lat, and I'm actually would rather it be a cracked rib than a lat, because the rib's pretty much whatever pain I can tolerate. It might not get better because I'm lifting heavy, but it's not going to get any worse. And it's also because it's mechanically not slowing me down.
Right.
You know, a lat would have taken me out. Right. So it is what it is. But basically what happened is it was just a little nagging thing. It was getting on my nerves. Somebody told me that, this is one of those things, don't believe what you hear. Somebody told me that you can dislocate one or slip one, and that if I basically had Sandy pop my back, it could reset it. So I had her pop my back the traditional way you'd see somebody get their back popped, and it made it like 30 times worse.
Yeah.
And basically got up the next day, went to the chiropractor. He said, you do not have a slipped rib or a dislocated rib. I can't set it back. It's probably cracked. And he said, you can come back and I'll image it here because I'm cheaper than the ER.
Yeah.
But he said, honestly, that's probably what it is because I can't do anything about it. So it was somebody's word for it. And I can tell you the pain is exactly what anybody, like fighters have cracked ribs a lot. That's exactly what anybody's ever described a cracked rib.
That makes sense.
So I just left it at that. And there's nothing that can be done for one. So there's no reason to waste 3 hours on a ER visit because they're just going to tell me to slow down and wrap it. And I'm not going to do either.
Why not wrap it?
Huh?
Why not wrap it?
I could wrap it.
Or there's tape, right? You can put
the only reason
tape on it.
The only reason I didn't choose to wrap it is because it's only affecting like the top like 6 inches of my deadlift. And like Westside used to wrap their shit all the time. Like me and Zach Rodriguez that listens to the show talked about it a little bit. Just do the old school Westside wrap and just fucking roll with it. You know, wrap it up with an ace bandage, you know, your chest pretty much, get some compression on it and keep going. And I just chose not to simply because it's just not affecting my deadlift as much as it is bench and overhead.
Right.
And I think the thing about those, it's in my back and not on the front of my ribs. So when I'm laying down on the bench to bench press and then adding, you know, 1.5 times my body weight to the bar,
right,
it fucking hurts. Yeah. That's all there is
for
to
sure,
it. So,
for sure.
But yeah, that's where we're at on that. It's not going to slow me down too much this week. I don't think. I think it'll be pretty much, manageable.
Yeah.
But I'm coming up on a deload, so we'll be okay.
That's a perfect segue to my week, which was a deload.
Yeah.
And we didn't really do much. We just kind of chilled out. Only thing I didn't do anything out of pocket. Deadlifts were kind of sucky because I was on a Olympic bar, no chalk, no belt, like just kind of pulled. And it was light. I don't even remember how much it was. I want to say it was 405, maybe less. It just felt bad. But those bars at Hartselle, like they are not.
It's like deadlifting on glass. So fucking slick.
Yeah, there's nothing good about deadlifting on those bars. So it's fine. Like, we did our deadlifts, we did our accessory work. Bench day, I did get a pretty good chest pump because I slowed them down. I just did like a 3-second tempo, roughly, and pause. It was like it was supposed to be 255. I think I did 275 because I didn't want to bother with the change plates, and got a good chest pump out of it, but it wasn't like bad. Like, it felt like an RP 7.
Sure.
So it was good. Just had a good pump out of it. Squat day was two plates. It was even less than I bench press for less reps. But cool thing is about that, like, and I watched it back and it's really interesting because my butt wink is worse on the last 2 sets. But the first set, my butt wink looked like almost non-existent. It hurt a lot more on my first set than my second 2 sets. My second 2 sets felt great. And I just kind of like did not focus on my glute positioning, I guess. I was still squeezing and like using my hips more, my glutes more. But I was more focused on sitting down and standing up than being super tight going into this position and then coming back up.
Yeah, we talked about it with my circumstance. Being overly tight was causing me all my hip pain.
Yeah.
Like, and potentially causing me injury time and time again. So like I've loosened up on squats and now my upper back's still righteously tight.
Right.
Like,
oh yeah.
Everything like hips down, fucking loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
Don't drive there's certain things that it's like you have to expect muscle memory to take over. I'm not intentionally torquing my knees out anymore, stuff like that. And it works better for me. Like, I'm not so sure, said this before, but I'm not so sure I would cue it that way or coach
Especially
it that way.
Especially not for a new person.
But yeah, I mean, we're pretty well practiced. So like, you kind of just got to go squat.
Yeah. The biggest thing that I've been cueing is just like, tight glutes and like crunching down like in my abdomen so I get a better core stabilization out of it.
Yep.
That's really only 2 cues. And then I actually sent a question to Casey from what's her
it's Dan Grigsby's coach, but I don't remember her.
What's her training systems that
I don't remember.
There's something strength. Everything is something strength. Fucking goddamn, every powerlifter ever has strength in their bio somewhere. Anyway, she basically said 90-90 stretching, which is really funny because 90-90 breathing was a big thing and juggernaut stuff, but she said 90-90 stretching specifically, which I haven't really looked into if I need to. And then she said figure 4 stretching should help with butt wink. So if those 2 things can keep, if I do those things and then I squat a little, more organically than like being super tight, I think we'll be in for a pretty good squat. I'm hoping I can get close to 600. Yeah. That'd be like a huge thing for me.
Well, the lows that we've had on squats, I would almost be content with a match and huge PRs on bench and deadlift.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's true. I mean, I still would like to PR on.
Yeah, squat, I mean, we don't go to lose and we don't go to get worse.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But it's a total sport, so there allows for some wiggle room for sure. Talking about what I've programmed for you this time, we said mention that. So pretty much it's backwards, but he pretty much has SBD days and then just an accessory work day.
Mm-hmm.
He's deadlifting the first part of the week because he likes to be with us at the garage because we have deadlift bars there. So it makes sense. And then he's basically just got leg accessories. Wednesdays is his bench day, and it's Tuesday, my bad. The day 2 is his bench day, and it's a pretty good bit of the suspected upper body work.
Yep.
Back, shoulders, arms, ton of it. Thursday, I guess, would be your squat day.
Yep.
So it's pretty much just squats and squat accessories. We dropped a secondary deadlift because his low back has not tolerated that. Which is fine. We do, people do fine on 2 days a week of this stuff. So, and he actually does have 2 squats a week. He has belt squat on day 1. And then day 4 is a catch-all upper body accessory day. So, lots of shoulder stuff, lots of plate loaded stuff. We did dead stop plate loaded bench press this time.
I think it was incline press.
On the incline, yeah. But yeah, we have dead stop there. So. I'm fooling around with dead stops on people because of Austin's success in the pin press. Some of you call it an Anderson press, whichever one you want to call it, doesn't matter. But I thought the hypertrophic value on a machine might pay off, just because we're trying to improve. Nathan in particular, and Austin too, have really big, really strong triceps. You can always have more triceps, and we are working on that too. But we're working on being faster off of our chest. So that their big, strong triceps can do more when the time comes, right? So his chest accessories, basically, he's just going to the bottom of the machine against the rubber all the way to the bottom. So a dead stop before he's allowed to press again. So he can't bounce it off of the machine, and he can't use a stretch reflex. It has to be just like a dead stop deadlift. Like, it has to be all the way against the machine before you can press again. I'm thinking that's going to be a good trade-off. That's a little bit of tie-in from what Joe has talked to us about learning to grind on machines and accessories, and not so much worrying about grinding on the barbell.
Yep.
So I'm just trying to take some notes from Joe basically on that one. I have one of my bodybuilders doing the same exact movement on that, just so I can kind of track hypertrophic success, I guess, from it too. So, but I would think that, much like if anybody's ever transitioned from bodybuilding to powerlifting, one of the biggest things that trips people up is the Paul's bench press. Like, it is an ego checker when you go from touch and go to having to Paul's bench presses. So I'm hoping we see the same like hypertrophic and strength value from dead stop machine presses as we would from that transition to Paul's, basically.
Unless you follow RP strength and you follow Dr. Mike, because he will tell you to pause everything.
Yeah.
Tempo and pause. Like, fuck the weight. Tempo and pause. No bodybuilder ever, well, not no bodybuilder ever, but 90, maybe 85% of bodybuilders are like, no, man, throw the weight on there and just jam as many reps as you can get. And it's like, nah, man.
I mean, I think I'm the strongest I've ever been on squat, and I can tell you that tempo and pauses have probably saved me.
Oh, yeah. You just get so much out of them.
So much so that I'm not so sure I won't pause these competition squats just to basically as a extra level of protection for my lower body, basically.
Makes sense.
At least until I build some confidence on the platform. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's a possibility. That's all I'm going to say.
Speaking of the platform, we've got something coming up in August 23rd, 24th.
Yeah, 23rd is weigh-ins. 24th, we're having another unsanctioned cash meet. I wish I wasn't participating in a sense because I have to run it and participate. But we're having another cash meet. Last one paid out $660 to best male and best female, so it's a pretty good payday. I don't expect to win because, well, Austin's competing. Austin is handicapped because we're not going to let him go ham on anything other than probably deadlift. Just because deadlift, if he gets in trouble, he can drop it.
Yeah.
Squat and bench press, though, are a commitment when they're super fucking heavy.
Yeah.
But plan is for him to not have to grind. But yeah, we're doing that. Hoping to have better participation than last time.
We had a decent turnout last time, though.
We did, yeah.
20-ish.
I feel like it was 15 competitors.
Was it 15?
We had a shit ton of spectators.
Yeah.
Just an unbelievable amount of people in the gym. If we could get 20, 25 participating, that'd be, quite a bit better night, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're doing that. That'll be my return, unofficial return to the platform, but it'll be my return to the platform. And then hopefully I'll compete another time or two this year. So
yeah, that'll be kind. cool.
I'll survive.
If we survive.
Yeah.
Just make sure we got good spotters and loaders.
No
Make
shit,
sure
man.
we got good spotters and loaders. That's a necessity at this point, I believe.
For sure.
Definitely want to keep everyone safe as best we can.
The best we can.
Yeah. The best we can. Yeah.
The best we can.
the best we can.
The best we can.
We're gonna reiterate that 100,000 times.
About the only thing we can do is just hope for the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's going down. So I'm about to start my prep for that, I suppose. I think I'm about 9 weeks out. So fortunately for me, I was coming up on heavy triples. So we'll probably just do the same thing I've done for you and give myself a rep range of like 1 to 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just kind of slowly.
I don't think I'm going to do a proper peak because it's not a proper meet. So
that's fair.
You probably won't lift the week of, but but like I'll probably still kind of go ham on my gym lifts and stuff.
You want to talking about that iridescence? Do you want to take a shot of it?
I might take shots of it on squat days for sure. I might buy me some for those.
It is expensive. It is like $80 or $90. So it's
for 10 mil,
30.
30 mil. That'll last a while at least.
It'll last a while. So you get
still cheaper than gear if you look at it that way.
You get 30 days of it, and if you like are only using it on your hard days, you probably last a while. So
yeah.
I think it was 30. It was either 20 or 30. I think it was 30. It could have been 20.
Even if it's 20, it'll last me 6 months probably.
20 injections is, and you might even do a half if you want. Like, yeah. I don't know. I'm going to do a full.
The ATP makes me nervous just because my heart health is better, but not ideal.
Take a half then, probably.
But
test the waters first.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. I wouldn't mind doing that.
It'd be fun.
But yeah, so I guess starting Monday, I guess I'm officially in prep. So, not so sure I don't need to deload this week and just skip the last half of my program and just, or last week or two of my program and just go into it.
We're not too far off from my prep.
No, I mean, you can peak in October, so your peak will start in September. So we probably got a block or two and a half blocks left. I think, probably.
We'll be 12 weeks out, July 24th or 26th.
We'll probably still have a week or two 26. Left of this, so it'll probably be another 6-week block and a 4-week peak. So it sounds about right. Of course, 4-week peak's really 3.
Right,
but yeah, I mean, it'll be okay.
I'm excited. I'm ready to compete.
It's cool
again.
seeing, because I remember what I used to put on paper for you.
Yeah.
So it's cool seeing like your old like 1 rep maxes for like a pretty good bit of reps. Like some of your drop sets are like more than more than your competition lifts back in the day. So it's pretty
how far back are you thinking?
Well, I mean, the last time I programmed for you.
Last time. That would be 2021.
Yeah. So I mean, for the SPF Worlds, the last time I prepped you. So
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's been.
Because I think I did a juggernaut prep for my 2023 meet or 2022 meet. 2023 was Joe. So
yeah. So that's where we're at on that. So should be fun. A lot of shit talk around that meet already.
I was actually going to mention there's some talk of call outs.
Yeah, I got called out jokingly, and then I was like, "Fuck it! If everybody's gonna call me out, then I'm gonna
show up.
I'm gonna show up, and I'm gonna call some people out along my way." So, one guy was kind of in fun, and Zach Nixon. I don't know if Zach listens to the show or not, but I called him out for shits and giggles. He kind of doesn't live with me, but he's in the gym at the same time I am. He's a big dude. I will be a weight class lighter than him. I'm pretty sure he's a 308, if not a super heavy. But he's not a fat dude. He's extremely tall. He's probably 6'4", 6'5".
Okay.
310 pounds, maybe. Big guy. Has a monster press. I don't remember the last time he squatted. I've seen him squat or deadlift, but I'm sure they're probably pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I know that when me and him were at the CrossFit gym together, he was toe to toe with me, if not a little bit ahead on deadlift. So dude's probably got a 600-pound deadlift in him.
Yeah.
Don't know about a squat, to be honest with you. But yeah, I did that for fun and then called out all the local CrossFit gyms because
they stay ready.
They stay ready. Yep, absolutely. And they have it in their thing. They say play new sports often. It's a brand new sport for them. And And one of them shit on having to wear a singlet, and I was like, it's still better than wearing fucking Reebok Nanos and Reeboks.
Man,
fucking Walmart shoes.
Right. What's really funny is like, oh, I don't want to have to wear a onesie. It's like what? Like,
bro, you don't even do strict pull-ups. Like, you're worried about the onesie? Thank God I didn't say it was a pull-up competition.
Right. Well, if you said it was a pull-up competition, they'd lose because they do kips. They don't do pull-ups. They like to flail around pretending they're doing something, but all they're doing is like...
Heaven forbid.
Oh, man.
Heaven forbid. Oof. I have started coaching somebody for classic weightlifting, clean, jerk, and snatch. It's not Olympic weightlifting because it's not on an Olympic level. I have to be careful how I say that. But I have started coaching somebody through the Olympic lifts. The classic lifts is what they're called. That's been a lot of fun. It's cool to see somebody move athletically. It's cool to have to program for something different.
Yeah.
Everything you program in Olympic lifting has to reinforce the movement. So there's a ton of squats for the catch, and then there's a ton of pulling, and there's a ton of shoulder and tricep work because there's a ton of pushing.
Right.
you know what I mean? So it's a lot more dynamic than powerlifting. It's a lot more athletic of a brand than powerlifting. But everything still has to happen. The more linear it happens, the better you are at it. Right. So it all has to happen. The better the lifter, the more linear things happen. And people call it a rainbow, but people, when they get their hip power, they tend to sling the weight up to them in a circular C-shaped pattern, hence the rainbow. But really, it should be like basically a high pull into your catch. You're keeping it close to your body, that kind of stuff. So lots of shoulder work. There's lots of like snatch, grip, high pulls. There's lots of deadlifting, lots of squats. Deadlifting comes out of your clean position or out of your snatch position. It doesn't come out of, they don't really line up the same way we would.
Yeah.
It's not 100%. Super narrow.
Yeah.
Like we would with a conventional.
Definitely not sumo.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. There's no carryover really for, for a sumo setup. So I mean, it's different and it's fun. It's fun to coach somebody, like I said, kind of athletically, and everything is geared toward making them stronger in that linear fashion and basically improving bar path and muscle memory. So all their accessory work is some small part of the clean or the snatch.
Right.
So, with the exception of some things you just need a bigger fucking back. So when we got pull-ups, lat pull downs, lat prayers, stuff like that in there. But stronger is fucking stronger.
Yeah.
There's a lot of direct arm work. Mainly we're doing a lot of biceps, keep elbows healthy and keep pulls strong,
Yeah.
But there's a lot of direct tricep work, a lot of direct shoulder work. It's just different in that you're just thinking in a different plane than you are in powerlifting.
Right. You're just thinking of supporting the lifts.
Yeah. Right. It's all very vertical where, we have to worry about horizontal power, a whole lot. So, it's just different, but it's fun. And, he's got I'm not going to mention his name because he's asked me not to, but he's got a big competition coming up. I think it's the Beach Brawl. I think it happens in September. It's a big CrossFit competition. And, we have taken it as far as we're not letting him do Metcons on his lifting days. Some of his accessory work is programmed like a Metcon, so he has a giant set of lunges, RDLs, and pull-ups. He has 10 apiece, 5 strict pull-ups on like a 5-minute timer, and he's responsible basically for just completing as much work as he can in a 5-minute timer. So there's things that kind of cater to him being a CrossFitter and to, work capacity and stuff like that, but still managing to get all of his accessory work done. We are warming up aggressively, not unlike what you warmed up with Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, basically has 5 minutes to complete max distance on a bike or a rower, treadmill, whatever he wants to do. So, we are messing around with that. But then on Metcon days, I've asked him basically to stay at about 150 beats per minute or less with his heart rate. Basically, we're trying to get him to where he can control his heart rate in a stressful situation. That way, when everybody else is driving a 5-speed, he's driving a 6-speed, right? Yep. He's got an extra gear to turn on whenever that he can hit whenever, the time comes. So we're managing his heart rate, managing his diet, and then just trying to make him stronger.
Yeah.
And that's the fault of not necessarily good CrossFit gyms, but CrossFit gyms locally is they're just not fucking strong enough.
Yeah.
And he has decided that he's tired of that and he wants to be strong enough. So that's what we're working on. So
probably a big reason why you took him as a client, right?
I'm not as much fuck you and actual practical purposes as I am on air about that. I really want him to be good at it.
Yeah.
It's my brand. If my brand overreaches into CrossFit, then by God, he's going to be a good fucking CrossFitter. That's what I fucking expect, and that's what I want. So
that's fair.
It's not my fault that he doesn't compete in my sport, and that's not my. As a trainer, that can't be your expectation for everybody that comes to you want to be a powerlifter.
Right.
That's not what I want for him. That's not what has to happen with anybody that comes to me. I have plenty of weight loss clients, general fitness clients, stuff like that. So, but that's my fucking brand now. So if he wants to go, he's representing me. So if he wants to be a CrossFitter, he's going to fucking represent me well. And that's just,
I just meant like the mentality that he came to you as, I want to be stronger.
Well, it should be telling as his home gym just hosted an Olympic lifting clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And he still has decided to seek out outside help with Olympic lifting. Mm-hmm. So what does that say? It is what it is. But like, it's good for me. And if other people from his gym want to come and start training with me, I would love it. I'd welcome it.
Right.
Like I said, his success is my success. So I ain't gonna shit on him just because he plays a different sport than I do. Let's, we'll make it work. You know what I mean? So
totally.
But there's some certain things like that. Like I think early on somebody, and I don't remember the guy's name, but there was a CrossFitter from Minnesota who used to drop into 256 when I worked there. And he dropped in, once every 3 or 4 months, but he was really, really good. He's a regional level athlete. I think he had been to the games a time or two before. And I asked him one time when he was there, I was like, so why are you so much better than the rest of us? And he was like, because I don't get in a hurry.
Yeah.
It's like, y'all, fucking kill yourself like 110% all the time. Like, it's like my baseline is better than yours because I've done this and I've never gotten in a hurry. And I've adapted to things sucking where things just always just suck for y'all.
Right.
Like I always have an extra gear. I always have the abilities. Like I just stay within my means. He said, because of that, I recover better. I build more muscle, all these other things. Mm-hmm. Heart rate has a huge impact on what your body does with energy systems. And it doesn't work so directly like this, but basically, above a certain heart rate, your body's going to cannibalize muscle mass before it does fat because it's a more usable energy source. Mm-hmm. So like if you can maintain a steady, not frantic heart rate while you're doing a not steady, very frantic exercise, now all of a sudden you're recovering better. You're a little bit stronger than everybody else. And now when you do have to go to 110%, you can do it without it stressing you out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so there is a huge science when it comes to endurance sports, but especially, like CrossFit and stuff like that, to learning to manage your heart rate and keeping yourself in certain heart rate zones. And that just does not get coached and it does not happen enough. Mm-hmm. And I think the problem is that they want it to be a fraternity and they just want it to look like everybody goes ham all the time. And that's really not what they should be selling. They should be selling the same thing all of us trainers, talk about all the time, that all this stuff has to happen at your own pace. Mm-hmm. And if it was, they would probably be significantly more successful.
And for the record, you're talking about Coleman specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think that there's definitely, I can name some gyms. Best one in Coleman's M3, far and away. I believe in what Colton Terry does. I believe he's a good man. I believe he's a good coach. But, places like CrossFit Trussville come to mind. Some of the Iron Tribe, which is its rival. It's not CrossFit. Some of the Iron Tribes do a little bit better. The CrossFit gyms up in Tennessee, specifically Froning's at like Mayhem, places like that have put an emphasis on strength and an emphasis on this just needs to happen at your pace, and also an emphasis on crawling before you learn to walk and then walking before you learn to run. They're just better.
Yeah.
Like these places that say, hey, I need you to be able to do 10 strict pull-ups before I teach you how to kip. That's a better gym than places that are like, we'll get you a pull-up next week. We'll hang 3 bands and teach you how to kip and you'll get your first pull-up. You're not doing that person any favors.
Right.
You're not. You're just probably going to give them, rotator cuff surgery is probably what you're gifting them. You know what I mean? But like, the people that, and I've said this a lot, But the CrossFit Level 1 certification is one of the most informative and helpful events in fitness I've ever attended. It was incredibly in-depth, incredibly good information. And then it seems like everybody leaves that room and uses none of it. Like their prescription is like, for like muscle ups, like these harder gymnastics movements is like, hey, you need 10 strict dips, you need 10 strict pull-ups, you need all of this stuff to happen before we teach you how to kip, before you learn how to do butterfly pull-ups, and then before you ultimately do chest to bar and then into a muscle up. You need strict dips, strict pull-ups. You need an L hang. You need to be able to, you need the core strength to be able to support the turnover in a muscle up. Like they were very, very like step by step. This is the progression that needs to happen. And then it gets fucking ignored. Like, I mean, it's because they want, they want to celebrate each other and everything else. And they're like, they're in it for, the average goer is in it for the wrong reasons. They're not, they want the attaboy and they don't want progression, but we're all should be there for progression.
Right.
And like the CrossFit Level 1's a great fucking certification. It is. You don't have to believe me. You can go fucking take it. It's really good, really in depth. It's very responsible. That's not what happens in these local gyms. And that's why they get beat by the non-local gyms. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it just is what it is. You think about me and you talked about the show before the show. I was poking fun at the play new sports often. CrossFit was my introduction to powerlifting. Louis Simmons and Mark Bell used to go around teaching West Side methods to CrossFitters, CrossFit gyms and stuff like that. Some of the better powerlifting facilities here in North Alabama are ran out of CrossFit gyms. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand. It's like there are sections of CrossFit that have embraced this and have gotten good at it, and that has made them better CrossFitters. Not necessarily they have to be powerlifters, but they're really good at squat, bench, and deadlift, and they have teams for powerlift, squat, bench, deadlift. Why they're so argumentative about it and stubborn about it here, I don't know. I know I'm not good at CrossFit. I've said it plenty. I don't intend to. I'm not good at powerlifting, but I've said it plenty. But I've also gone and I've experienced that. I've tasted that. I've done it. It wasn't for me, no big deal. But like, when it's in your creed to play new sports often, and you don't, I don't know what to tell you. But good on people that have good attitudes about it and want to get better. And like this gentleman that started with me, good on him for wanting to progress, looking for outside help to progress, beyond that. But if you're a CrossFitter and you're listening, there's nothing wrong with your sport. We shit on it a lot. There's nothing wrong with your sport, though. It's a fun sport. It's a really good spectator sport, to be honest with you. It's really fucking fun to watch. All I would say is just pay attention to your progressions and everything. Progress well. If you want to get better, do the little things really, really good. Do the things that maybe don't look so sexy and cool really, really well before, you learn the big movements. One thing I teach people in clean and jerk and snatch, like the most deductive reduction of shit, and there's some people that roll their eyes about this, but at the beginning and end of the lift, a clean, a jerk, and a snatch are just a jump and a catch. If you jump well and you catch well, then we can start working on the little finite details in between that work on that bar path, that work on stuff like that. But at the beginning of it, it's a jump and a catch. We need to teach a jump and a catch. Don't worry about your first pull, your second pull, all that shit yet. Like, can you jump and can you catch? Yeah, that's it. Like, basically it's a vertical jump and a low catch. You're catching it in your squat position. Like, can we do that? If we can do that, cool. Let's put a PVC pipe or a broom handle in your hand and now let's start working the actual movement. If we can do that well, let's go to an empty barbell. If we can do that well, we can progress it from there on. But, nobody likes doing the little things. So they want 225 pounds on the bar and they want it to go over their head. You know what I mean? So, which is fucking hard. And it's harder than a 225 pound clean and jerk or 225 pound snatch is much harder than a 225 pound bench press.
Oh, yeah.
Much rarer, much harder to do. Like, it's a hard fucking thing. And it's the little things. Think about all the time we spend as powerlifters on the little things. And really, the better you get, the more small those details become. Like, the more finite details we start working on. Like, the things me and you talk about in your squat are not the things I talk about with somebody brand new.
Right.
Fucking far from it. Like, not even close. Like, can we squat? That's the first. Right. That's the first question. Like,
can you squat onto a box?
Yeah, like, it might be that. Like, do you know what an athletic stance is? Can you set your feet up right?
Right.
Like, I mean, we're talking about very, very reductionist. And there's not enough. There's plenty of sports that don't do enough detail. I see that in high school sports. Like, football coach wants to teach. You know, a lot of football coaches around here, they're everything. They're their strength and conditioning coach. You know, they pretty much fill every role, other than maybe the coordinator positions. They fill every other role there is. They're responsible for getting the kids strong. They're responsible for getting the kids conditioned. They're responsible for putting a good product on the field, and they have very little help doing it. But that's a problem when it comes to like weightlifting and stuff like that. They're like, go lift weights and get strong. I'll be in there with you. They don't really know how to cue stuff. They really don't know how to teach people. And they're not willing, because they need a bigger, stronger athlete and they need it now. They're not willing to peel some layers back and be like, we're teaching y'all how to do a body weight squat today.
Right.
Let's teach you how to do a push-up. Like, it's not just CrossFit. It's not just, hell, it's in powerlifting.
Yeah.
I see people talking about cues they have no business fucking talking about. Like, man, you probably just need to work on squatting to death.
Right.
Like, I mean, it happens. Like, I mean, it happens in every sport. CrossFit's just the meme. You know what I mean? It is, but it does happen. It happens everywhere. Like, think about how opposed so much of our community in powerlifting is to volume.
Yeah, that's true. Or
there is not a single thing in the gym that responsible volume, there's not a single plateau that responsible volume can't get you over.
Right.
Just fucking do it more. It has to be responsible again. Ideally we operate between our MEV and our MRV, and we keep it responsible, we keep it recoverable and stuff like that. But even sometimes when we push the boundaries, think about early on, you can't do this now because you're too strong. Early on, like squats and milk. That is well outside of 99.9% of people's MRV.
Yeah.
You will fucking get better doing it. Oh, yeah. Like 100%. Like, I mean, you got to know when to push those boundaries and stuff like that. But responsible volume will get you over any fucking plateau. It will. Like, and maybe for somebody like Nathan, it looks like responsible volume on his triceps or responsible volume on his quads, and not responsible volume on, or just a ton of volume on barbell. But like, there is not a single fucking thing that volume won't get you over. Me and you have got to where we look at volume a little bit differently now. I would rather have more volume on a single exercise. Like, if you have a tricep weakness, me and you, and it's your fault, but we have become big fans of a reverse grip push down because it builds that inside head a little bit better than a regular push down does. Puts a lot more depth in your arm, a whole lot more. Provides a lot of stability in the bench press, a lot of power in the bench press. I would rather do 5, 6, 7 sets of that than do fucking 3 tricep movements at 3 sets of 10.
Yeah.
Like, much more effective to just fucking stay there on one exercise. We've gotten to where we don't even do a lot of supersets now.
Yeah.
Like, I have a superset on your back, and we have some arm supersets, but we're not changing machines. It's like hammer curls to regular curls.
Right.
Like shit like that. Like, we are staying put. Like, we don't move around the gym. Like, there's a million different ways to do that, but you know, all this stuff, I say all that to say this, all this stuff happens in every sport. Like I said, CrossFit's just the meme. It is what it is. But like, you know, I can think of 1,000 things in powerlifting where I'm like, that's pretty bad advice. You know what I mean?
Like, it's like not doing accessory work.
Not doing accessory work.
Just flat out ignoring it.
The West Side prescription is something I've learned to appreciate more, but at the same time, like, that tends to get people outside of their, because of the load, the absolute load of it, it tends to get people's outside of their MRV because it's just too fucking heavy to do. Even on like a board press or something like that, it's too fucking heavy to do week in, week out, stuff like that. The prescription on volume on West Side's awesome because it does exactly what I just said. It might be 8 sets of 10 on one tricep movement. That's fine. But like, you know, there's a lot of things. The idea of a powerlifter shouldn't squat a set of 10 is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you can't do 6 sets of 10. That's fine. A set of 10 and a couple of drop sets will do you some fucking good. Yeah. Like, get outside of your, 3 to 5 rep box and do something. You know what I mean? Like,
I think John Hack does like 6s and 8s. I don't know if he does 10s necessarily. I have seen him do a lot of 6s and 8s, which is
he's strong enough that might be 10s might push him outside of his recoverable.
Yeah.
Because there's probably not a big load difference for him between 8s and 10s.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you. So I'm sure that probably has something to do with just what he recovers best.
Right.
I always do. And with a lot of y'all, I typically reduce volume on deadlifts compared to a squat. So like if we're squatting 5s, we're probably deadlifting 3s.
Yeah.
If we're squatting 3s, we're probably deadlifting 1s. Maybe even 2s. 2s pop up on deadlifts for me quite a bit. But I mean, there's a million different ways to manage that. One thing I like a whole lot now is I like my top set to be a pretty reduced volume. You see it this time, we have 1 to 3 reps for our top set, and we have 5 reps, hard reps on drop sets. And that's just a way to keep muscular endurance and hypertrophic responses happening while we're prepping.
Yeah.
You know, and it's good practice. Like, you know, we talk about that all the time. Like, it's a skill that needs to be practiced. Like, it's okay to keep your volume high if it's manageable. You know what I mean?
A little Joe Sullivan thing here. Someone commented on a story, something about should you have hypertrophy in your peak or something like that? And he basically said hypertrophy should be happening all the time.
All the time.
Every time you're in the gym, hypertrophy should be happening. If you're just going in and you're like strictly like, even if you're peaking, if you're going in and you're like, I'm going to SBD like 3 singles and I'm going to go home, that's not great.
That's not.
It's. I mean, you might get a little bit of skill practice, but if you're doing singles, like,
you know, not only is it hypertrophic response though, but building some type of tolerance to volume is what's going to help you recover between events on your competition day. That's really important. It's just going to keep you stronger. Fitness also decays. We use that word a lot. Fitness decays faster in your upper body than it does in your lower. That's the reason, you know, it's not too terribly uncommon to have women take openers less than a week out.
Yeah.
You know, women's fitness typically decays faster because the absolute load is less. That's also why, you know, on like a 5-day split like I'm on, I have 3 upper body days, only have 2 lower. You are 2 and 2.
Yeah.
But with significantly more volume on upper. More exercise selection, more volume on those exercises. It's in general a much longer day.
Yeah.
But hypertrophy is, it really does go beyond hypertrophy because I mean, you are basically prepping for your event day. You're going to be standing around, sitting in things that aren't chairs that aren't so comfortable. You're going to be nervous, amped up, like all these things, and like your ability to recover from that matters. And hypertrophic training does train a degree of endurance and recoverability on meet day. I mean, that stuff's really, really important. But also, it's an ugly word now, or is this an ugly person in powerlifting now? But Steffi Cohen back in the day posted something that hypertrophy really happens across all rep ranges from 1 to 100. There's hypertrophic responses across a huge, broad range. Ideally, though, it happens between 8 and 20.
Right.
Like we know between 8 and 20 is scientifically more beneficial than 1 to 5 or 20 plus reps.
Yeah.
It's not to say that you're not seeing hypertrophic responses from hamstrings, like a lot of volume, like 20 plus reps.
Yeah.
Like there's exceptions to this. But like, so hypertrophy's always happen even on your barbell stuff. Like you can get bigger and stronger by squatting 1s, but your fitness is going to decay too fast if you're just going in there and squatting 3 singles and not hitting any leg press, leg extension, lunges, leg curl, whatever the fuck you want to talk about. But like, you're basically getting out of shape. Yeah. And that's basically what I'm saying. Like, you're allowing yourself to get out of shape because you don't want to do accessory work. And that's not fucking good. I mean,
that's where we get the fat power lifter stigma.
Yeah, that is. I mean, and we talk about this all the time. I'm working on this now. Fat powerlifters don't fucking win anymore.
Yeah.
They don't. I mean, like fucking Jesus Oliveras and Dan Bell, the best 2 totalers to ever fucking do it, and can't touch these lightweight guys. And arguably, they're built pretty fucking well to be as heavy as they are.
Right.
I mean, to be fair to you. But like, gone is that day. I mean, I think Larry Wills probably opened up people's eyes to it because I mean, he held records 220, 242, 275, and 308 simultaneously at one point. It is what it is. And when he beat Lillibridge's shit, he was 286 pounds. Derek Thistlethwaite just busted up 275 at a pretty light 275. He was in the 260s, right? Like, I mean, it is what it is. But these people have talk about what John Hack's done. He has maximized the amount of muscle you can put on a 198 frame.
Yep.
Joe talks about one of the problems that he was seeing. He's coming back to powerlifting, but toward the end of his last powerlifting stint, is he was physically having to cut to a weight that was less than his lean body mass at his walking around weight.
Yeah.
Like he was scanning like 220 plus pounds of lean lean body mass, not muscle mass in total. Yeah. We're talking about bone, muscle, water, everything, not fat, basically. Everything is not fat. He was scanning higher than the number he had to compete at.
Right.
On lean body mass, not in his, and he was having to cut below that. So you're talking about somebody that has absolutely maxed out. No more amount of muscle can be put on his frame. And then people wonder why he can break all-time world records. That's because mass moves mass. Fat mass moves mass. But muscle mass moves more than fat mass. Yeah. And that's all there is to it. So, I mean, gone is the day of getting to be out of shape and being a good powerlifter. Yeah. It's not going to fucking happen again.
I don't think
it's fucking done.
Like you said, other than like Jesus Oliveras, I haven't seen a heavy powerlifter that has been successful. Like in the past several years.
Probably since Dan's last one.
Yeah.
I don't remember when that was, but like Dan and Jesus before that, Brandon.
Yeah.
Ray Williams.
Yeah, Ray Williams.
Extremely fucking good. Extremely fucking good. We're talking about absolute fucking legends. But they're in an unlimited class. And maybe it does pay to be a little bit fatter in that class.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is. But like now you're seeing 242s and 275s definitely out dotsing them, but arguably some of them out totaling them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like nobody's going to out total Jesus, but like,
what is he at?
25, 60?
I thought he was knocking on the door of 26.
Yeah, like, I mean, he's very, very close to 26. And that's crazy. Like, if y'all don't know, 2,500 is an unheard of number in multiply.
Yeah.
It's alien in multiply.
He's doing it in sleeves.
He's doing it in sleeves, yeah. On a stiff bar.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, the man's almost too big to get under a regular squat bar and under a power bar. And he's doing it on a power bar, all three events. And has total 2560. So, I mean, he's enormously talented. Yeah. So, I'm not taking anything away from him. But not all of us are going to be that big, and not all of us have a desire to be that big. So, you better fucking think about being in shape as a powerlifter. And that's where that, beyond just the hypertrophic responses, that's where fucking volume comes. That's what it does for you. So, you should consider that. you know what I mean?
I just always think back to how many dual athletes we have at this point. Like specifically like Hunter Henderson, Brianni Terry, legendary female powerlifters who also do bodybuilding and win.
And really fucking good at bodybuilding.
Pro bodybuilders, both of them. They both have their pro card. And both of them have all-time world records. Hunter in the squat.
That's
and
not
Brianni
by accident.
No, not at all. They got better as powerlifters when they did bodybuilding.
I mean, and we like to joke about in powerlifting all the time, the 198 powerlifter being stronger than a super heavy bodybuilder. That happens, but they also don't train for this. They also don't train for that. Like, whether you like it or not, whether you become a powerlifter because quote unquote it has half the none of the dietary discipline and half the reps, you did it for the fucking wrong. You're doing it to get beat. Yeah, because these people are dual sport athletes. The people that win are dual sport athletes, or could be. Jawan and John Hack, two people that are probably 6 weeks from a bodybuilding stage. Will they win? Probably not, but they would look fucking good. You know what I mean?
6 weeks from a conditioning standpoint. Yeah. Obviously, posing
from a balance and posing and stuff like that is different. But like
that definitely
conditioning alone is what I'm saying. Yeah. Not taking in consideration of posing and stuff like that. But you're talking about that they are that fit though. Yeah. That they could be conditioned to go do that. Yeah. Posing would suck. But they could be conditioned for that, something like that. And also thinking about all the care pros like Brianni and Hunter Henderson and Joe, who's a fucking madman when it comes to his diet. They're arguably some of them diet harder than bodybuilders do. Honest to God,
he did my diet.
Honest to God, like
you know what my diet looked like. It was horrible. Like not in the
650, 700 grams of carbs. Yeah, most is protein from liquid and chicken.
I got to eat steak on my off days once, and it was 6 ounces. That was my red meat intake.
People bitch and moan like, I did this, but I got into powerlifting, so I wouldn't have to do all that shit. Well,
We lost video. It's okay.
Well, guess what? If you want to be good, you're going to have to do all that shit anyway. I hate to break it to you, bud. Like, you should look, Heathen Strength, somebody I recently started following, he talks all the time. You should look strong.
Yeah. That's kind of
you should look like an athlete because you are a fucking athlete. And he's not talking about looking like an offensive lineman. He's talking about looking like a running back. You know what I mean? He's talking about being built
linebacker.
Well, you know what I mean? He's talking about, lots of lean mass, very little fat mass. As a powerlifter, you should have visible abs.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard pill to swallow as a big man. But how much better would I be if I was 275 and I weighed at 279 this morning, by the way.
Okay.
So I'm going to make my weight class. But how much better would I be if I was 275 and 12% body fat instead of 275? And at 275 this time, I might make 19.
Yeah.
So just say 20. How much better am I?
Right.
If I'm 12% body fat in 275 versus 20% in 275.
Yep.
That takes a series of cuts and bulks and cuts and bulks and cuts and bulks and cuts and bulks. You don't have to like it, but prepare to get beat by the fitter individual in your weight class. Yep. I could just about guarantee you, even at these local meets, the 242 that looks the part is probably going to be the 242 that fucking wins. The fucking 275 that fucking looks the part, that's probably going to be your fucking guy. Yeah. Like I said, you ain't got to fucking like it, but the 242 that's obviously fucking muscular, that looks like he fucking lifts like yourself, because you're dying for me to say that.
Well, I was actually just thinking about
but the guy that looks fucking jacked is probably fucking strong. I can think about 1,000 different fucking people here locally that you look at somebody like Ron. Ron looks fucking athletic.
Oh yeah. He looks like he could put pads on right now and line up at a university and go fucking play running back. He looks like an athlete. Dwan looks like an athlete. John Hack looks like an athlete. Yep. Like the best people we know and the best people in powerlifting look like fucking athletes. Yep. Joe looks like an athlete. You know what I mean? Joe looks like a brick wall, like a 5'7" brick wall.
But I mean, they look, even here locally, talk about Justin at his best. Justin was not fat.
Yep.
198 pounds. He was fucking muscled up, and how does somebody that small lift that much weight?
He's muscular.
He's got more muscle mass than you do, dude. Like it doesn't matter that he's 198 pounds. He has 150 fucking pounds of muscle in his frame. Like you don't. You're 300 and don't have 150 pounds of muscle. That's fucking why. Like,
and it is something to say. There is like a link between your nervous system being able to handle and move these loads.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Which is practice.
There's athletic genetics too. So like something that would surprise a lot of people is I don't know about his most recent scans. I'd be very surprised if I was better than him now, because I'm probably not. When Austin first started at QC, I measured much higher muscle mass than Austin does. Somebody that squats 250 pounds more than me.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's not all in that, but I do have a theory. We've talked about it before. It doesn't really matter what strength sport you're in. I think that you're really starting to turn the corner to elite level strength when you have, not in lean body mass, but in muscle mass, when you have 50% or higher of your total mass is muscle mass.
Yeah.
So like for me at 280 right now, I need 140 pounds or more on my frame to post an elite total. This is theorized. This isn't necessarily. Right. I feel like you're probably pretty close to 120 plus pounds of muscle at 242. But also you also total more than I do. Oh. So I mean, it makes sense. I think there's a direct link to muscle mass percentage and your ability to post an elite total. Even if you don't have it now, even if you have to train for it.
Right.
More muscle is a higher strength potential. That's all there is to it. But I really do think, especially, I think it really proved it to me in a sense when Joe was talking about his body composition. Like people are walking around with much more muscle on their frame than anything else. Like I really feel like that number starts at 50 and goes up to whatever. Right. I don't know what's possible.
Right.
But I think we want 50% for an elite total. I think we want 50% of your body mass to be muscle.
You know what's talking about, this is kind of side note, but you know what's really scary is thinking about when Joe comes back to powerlifting and he wants to be a 242. Like how
he might be the best ever.
He might be the most like massive 242 ever. Just thinking about him, like walking around with 220 pounds of muscle mass at his walking around weight, which is like 238-ish, I think.
Yeah.
You know, him going to like 250 and then cutting down to 242 or something, or maybe higher than 250. I don't know what his water cut potential looks like. I'm guessing it's at a minimum of 10 to 12 pounds.
Yeah.
But just, God damn.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I mean, I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent, but I feel like it was informative. But like, there's not a single, if you're in a strength sport, if you're in CrossFit, powerlifting, the classic weightlifting stuff, clean and jerk and snatch. If you're in, obviously, it should be obvious in bodybuilding. If you're in strongman, mass moves mass, but muscle mass moves more. That's all there is to it.
Bobby Thompson.
Muscle is your ability to, Paul Dwyer.
Yeah.
Fucking our strongman is extremely fucking jacked. Like, extremely jacked.
Funny enough, John Hack.
John
just
Hack
randomly showed up.
Thor, when he won, had visible fucking abs.
Yep.
Think about that weird. Think about seeing that versus somebody. No shot at Eddie because he has visible abs now. When Eddie was competing, he was built like a bowling ball.
Yeah.
Think about Thor though, being the same level of competitor and have visible abs at over 400 pounds. I'm surprised Shaw doesn't now. He probably does now that he quit. Honestly. You know what I mean? But you know, you're talking about like, these are people that have put an enormous amount of muscle in their fucking frame and it's never hurt them.
Right.
And I think that's my gripe. Full circle, talking about coaching a CrossFitter now, is that's my gripe with 110% Metcons. It's my gripe with little to no recovery. It's my gripe with all that is like, all right, how are you going to get stronger?
Yeah.
Doing this.
How are you going to
tell me how you're going to get stronger?
How are you going to get better at anything other than moving faster because you have less weight on your body because you are cannibalizing muscle?
Well, here's the deal. At this point, if you're cannibalizing muscle, that's going to take away from your 1 rep max potential, which takes away from work capacity.
Yeah.
I had this argument with a CrossFitter online not too terribly long ago. There's a lot of ways to contribute to work capacity. Breathing better is certainly one of them. It's very important to it, right? But if my 1 rep max clean and jerk is 405 and yours is 315, Grace, which is a CrossFit benchmark, is 30 clean and jerks at 135 for time. Who do you think is getting through that faster if I have a 100-pound differential on you? There is no way you're beating me on that. There's no fucking, you know, barring injury and all things comparable, like you're not beating me on that.
Yeah.
That not even Isabel's 30 snatches at 135 for time is held by Eddie Hall. That world record's held by Eddie Hall. Do you think that was by a fucking mistake? You know what I mean? Like, do you think it's because he's better metabolically conditioned than a CrossFitter? No. It's because he can put 500 pounds over his head. And it's, you know, 15% of his 1 rep max. That's the reason why he beat him at it. You know what I mean? It is, you don't have to like it, but it's the facts. I mean, it is what it is. Like, so like, how do you get bigger? How do you get stronger? How do you get better at CrossFit? Maybe you need to spend less time CrossFitting and more time worrying about your 1 rep maxes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's proofs in the pudding. I mean, I made this example. You don't know, you probably know who he is. You probably don't. I'm sure you didn't watch his run, but when Rich Froning was winning, I remember they had the CrossFit Games at the time. It was before it went to Madison, Wisconsin. It was at Camp Pendleton in California. He got drugged. They started one with a triathlon. So it's bike, swim, run.
Yep.
Or run, swim, bike.
Yeah. Got
fucking drugged. Like middle of the pack or worse, right? Fucking just about clean swept the rest of the events because he was so much fucking stronger than everybody else. That's somebody that I saw at a CrossFit Games one time. Maybe the last year he won it, and as an individual, overhead squatted like 445 pounds. The next closest to him was like, I think Scott Panchik at like 380. You're telling me strength doesn't fucking matter?
Right.
He just fucking dusted the next best by 65 pounds. Fuck you. Strength matters.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that guy could do 40 strict pull-ups, you don't think that helped his ability to do 100 butterfly pull-ups?
Right.
Made it a fucking lot easier for him, I promise. Like, I mean, those answers should be obvious, but like, even by their own prescription, like, and I really like CrossFit's prescription, we've talked about this before, of an athlete, was where balance, power, strength, mobility, speed, agility, all these things met. The more of those things you had, the more athletic you are, right? Then why are you fucking, if that's the truth, then why are you paying attention to just half the circle?
Right.
Why isn't power and strength better? You want to be an athlete. How do you get power and strength better? You fucking eat a lot and you lift a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And you need the metabolic condition. There's no doubt about it. I make this example all the time, though. You saw this improvement when you were working with Joe. Probably took a couple of weeks to get adjusted to it. But when it comes to metabolic conditioning, how many weeks would you say that it took to get adjusted to his warm-ups, which were basically CrossFit Metcons? His warm-ups were.
About 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks. You had good work capacity in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yep.
How long has it taken you to get strong?
A long time. I'm still not strong.
How many years are you working on right now?
Let's see. Since I started powerlifting, we're going on 5.
2019 would have been your start?
Yeah. So it'll be a month, was August, right?
Yep.
August of 2019 is when I came to you.
So 5 years, 3 weeks.
Yep.
And the worst versus 5 years. You fucking pick it.
Yep.
Pick. I can have you conditioned and ready for a CrossFit competition in fucking 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I can't have you strong enough for a CrossFit competition in 6 weeks.
Yep. That's
all there is to it. You got to fucking pick what you're going to invest in. Like, as fat and as fucking miserable as I am, I have myself run like couch to 5K and have no ability to run at all fucking day one and been able to run a fucking 5K in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many years it took me to bench 315? How many more years it took me to bench 405? That just fucking happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even more so, like fucking, I can't even begin to tell you how long it took me to go from a 365 pound back squat as a CrossFitter to squatting over 400 as a powerlifter.
Mm-hmm.
Deadlift. As a CrossFitter, I probably hit 485, 495 1,000 times before I broke 500 off the ground. Like, it fucking takes forever to build strength.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all there. I mean, it is what it is, but it's a better return on investment and it takes longer to fucking do. But your 1 rep max goes up, your work capacity is going to go up at lighter weight. We were talking about, Mason definitely had a last laugh on this, but he squatted 2 plates last week for 30 reps.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty fucking cool. But what I told him before he started, I was like, by the way, I can bench press this for 27 reps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He can squat it for 40 now. He just did it for 41 yesterday. That's fucking cool. Don't get me wrong. But like, I mean, you do something like Lynn. Lynn is a CrossFit benchmark. It is untimed your body weight on the bench press bar and strict pull-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think you're going to fucking hang with me? Fucking
right.
Yeah, really? You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how well you breathe, bud. Like, you're not going to fucking do it. you know what I mean? I might have to fucking hit sets of 10 on my fucking bench press every round and do fucking 5 or 6 pull-ups, but like, you're probably not winning it.
Right.
Let's be realistic. Like, even the playing field let me do your body weight. I can fucking do, 50 reps in a set at 185. Right. You know what I mean? It doesn't fucking matter. Like, I mean, I think that it just has to pay attention to. It's really not CrossFit woes. It's really just people paying attention to the wrong fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we do that as powerlifters. Like I said, we don't want to pay attention to volume, and volume's the very thing that's going to make us a good powerlifter. Like, you talk about it till we're blue in the face. I mean, all you want to. I see it, and I'm starting to see it more and more. Not our guys. Anthony and Kevin are really, really talented. See it in local strongman stuff. They want to train the events, but they don't want to train like a fucking bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
How do you going to put more muscle mass on your frame?
Right.
I understand picking up a 600-pound yoke takes skill, takes practice, stuff like that. But like, you don't think you need bigger, stronger legs to be better at strongmen? You don't think that your barbell overhead press going up is going to help your log press?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't think your deadlift's going to help your ability to deadlift?
Right.
You know what I mean? Even on an odd implement, you know what I mean? Like, you probably should be working on a bigger, stronger frame all the time. Like, the first year Eddie podiumed was the year before he got sponsored by the dude from the Middle East or whatever. He didn't have any strongman implements and solely had to train like a bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
It was him in a gym fucking pressing 100-pound dumbbells over his head until he couldn't fucking breathe anymore. And podiumed on the biggest stage in all of strength sports. Like, it fucking matters. I mean, I don't know. That's a big rant, but like, I think any powerlifting coach worth their salt is going to tell you to pay attention to volume.
Mm-hmm.
Every CrossFit coach worth their weight is going to say pay attention to recovery, pay attention to volume, pay attention to heart rate, pay attention to how strong you're getting. If you're not getting stronger, we're not pushing this thing down the road.
Right.
Like, your 5K time is not going to affect your ability to clean and jerk.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to improve your ability to clean and jerk. I'm sorry. It might improve your ability to clean and jerk something 30 times, but not like it's going to if you get better at clean and jerk.
Right.
Technique's better, strength's better, all that stuff's better. You're probably going to be fucking better. Just is what it is, man. Like, I think sometimes this is so simple, it's hard.
Yeah. I mean,
because it does physically make the work harder. Mm-hmm. Like, let's be honest with you, volume fucking sucks. I would much rather squat 500 for a single than 405 for 3 sets of 5.
Yep.
Much fucking rather do it. 100%. Everybody listening will tell you the same fucking thing.
It's over.
But how do you fucking get better? Like, I mean, how are you going to get better at it? Like, you're only going to have so many licks at your 1 rep max.
Mm-hmm.
You can only repeat that so many times. Like, you got to pick something.
Yep. That's one of the reasons why I really like a super long off season, why I usually go a year before I compete. This is probably going to be, assuming that I go, this is going to be the soonest like turnover I've ever had on a powerlifting meet, and going from like October to I think April and going to the Ghost Clash amateur day. And that's going to be like a 6-month turnover instead of a year turnover. So it's,
yeah, I mean, you heard Ron when he was on talk about, ideally 2 times a year.
Yeah.
I mean, because iron sharpens iron, it is important to compete as powerlifters.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, the meet day jitters are a real thing. The more you can get over that, the less of a deal it is, stuff like that. But you got to have time to fucking train for them.
Yep.
Like, he sat here and said 3 max.
Yeah, 3 max. That's
good
to me,
but not ideal. But 3, right. But 3 maximum. You know what I mean?
To me, 3 is just like insane. I couldn't imagine doing 3 in a year. But like I said, I like a long off season. I love powerlifting. I love being away from powerlifting too. Like I love taking a break from powerlifting.
Well, mentally it helps. Prep is hard. It's hard on your body. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's hard on everything. It's hard on your time. It's hard on your wallet. It's hard on fucking everything. But like it goes back to the body composition thing and how important hypertrophic work is and stuff like that. The better powerlifters are spending 9 months out of the year being bodybuilders, builders, whether it's, and even so far as to diet now, like we talked about that, but like we train higher rep ranges, lighter weight, more of the year than we ever have as powerlifters. I mean, and we get better for it. Technique's better, strength is better. We're bigger, stronger people. Like, we're healthier. Like, it sucks to put your nuts on the line for a 1 rep max all the fucking time. Yep. Like, it's not sustainable. Like, I know all the, 18 to 24-year-olds that I coach, like, really want to get in and see what they can fucking do right now. And they probably can for a couple of years. But, like, there's going to come a point where that's going to fucking...
Yeah.
You're putting your fucking dick on the cutting board, dude. Like, you're going to have to, like, like...
The biggest thing I remember, and this was a conversation I had with Joe. He was like, well, you're going to PR. Do you want to PR in the gym or on the platform? You can't do both.
Pick one.
Pick one. You get one. Like, if you want to PR in the gym,
and Bob,
solid,
I'm 100% sure I'm 100% sure Joe wasn't talking about 3 rep maxes, 5 rep maxes, stuff like that.
Talking about one.
But 1 rep max, like there's no reason for you to be going 100 in practice.
Yep. You can practice singles. Nothing wrong with practicing singles. And
you should. Like, we talk about, accumulation of quality singles over about 80% is incredibly important to the production of a 1 rep max. That's all there is to it. It's CNS adaptation and stuff like that. But I think people struggle with the fact that, like, in terms of stimulus and what it's doing to your body, hitting 80, 85, 90% is round about the same stimulus with a lot less risk than hitting your 1 rep max.
People just want to do, people prescribe to the notion of better than you were yesterday, right? But if I hit, 225 yesterday or last week, I want to hit 235 this week. You don't have to do that to be better.
Yeah, maybe that's fine. 5 rep max, 10 rep max scenario.
I'm talking about one.
But
I'm doing low numbers.
There's not there's not a whole lot of value in that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really not. Like, okay, great. Like, maybe you ate a little better and slept a little bit better this week, and one off, you got 10 pounds better on your 1 rep max. Do you really think that's going to be sustainable 2 or 3 weeks from now?
Yeah,
do you think you're going to put? Do you think you're going to put 10 pounds a week on any lift?
Yeah,
but they think they can. You know what I mean? It's crazy, but they think they can, and that's ridiculous. Like, talk about overhead press strength, and I realize that's a bench accessory for us, right? It took me years to hit 2 plates.
Yep.
Years to hit 2 plates. It took me another 2 years to hit 5 pounds more.
Yep.
And I still, on a bad day, will go in and miss a 2-plate overhead press. Mm-hmm. I'm not that strong on my shoulders, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what to fucking tell you. But it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
If I've hit 405 in practice on bench now, if I were to hit that on the platform, I'd be elated, just fucking so happy. If I were to get 10 pounds more, that's a year's worth of work.
Potentially.
At this level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe not if you're super responsible and keeping up with things like you're supposed to and everything like that. But there are pros that go out and win with 90% of their best.
Mm-hmm.
They can't even fucking do it on the platform. And you think you can? I'm not being a dick.
Right.
But
it's just realistic.
This person's genetically fucking made for the sport. World record holder, beats everybody they fucking see, owns their weight class, and they're not even at their best on the day that they're supposed to be at their best. And
still win.
And they still win. But you're going to tell me you're going to do it and you're going to hit a PR a month for the rest of your life? I mean, I guess it's going to be cool to see you squat 2,000 pounds and bench 15 and deadlift 3,000. You know what I mean? It's not fucking, there's a reason why nobody does those fucking numbers. Because that kind of training is fucking finite. Like, it's not, training in general is finite. But like training like that, you
get your newbie gains.
You're fucking betting against your health.
Mm-hmm.
And the best powerlifter is the healthy powerlifter. The best CrossFitter is the healthy CrossFitter. Best strongman, healthy strongman. Fucking Brian Shaw is one of my favorite strength athletes of all time. If not, maybe my favorite. I love the man. Fucking think about the last two or three times he competed in own fucking qualifying, and then you probably blame his age over you can't training, because I'm sure his training is fucking dialed.
Mm-hmm.
But like, gets to main events, get hurt, doesn't make it to the podium, knowing good and goddamn well he's the best person there. But guess what? Had 3, 4, 5 guys healthier than Brian Shaw. Tough shit.
Mm-hmm.
What you can do is much, much better than what you could do. Yep. That's just all, just is what it is. Like, you don't have to fucking like it. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about training this way. We're talking about sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
I had a kid, he was prescribed, he's a new client and he's going to get adapted. I'm not going to say his name out loud. He's a good kid. Kid out of Jasper, been running one of my programs. He was prescribed like 4 sets of 8 at like 165 down bench press. Sends me 2 videos of 225 and 205. AMRAPs.
Mm-hmm.
At 225 and 205. I'm like, wow. It's like, I just wanted to see where I'm at.
You didn't have to.
We're like fucking 18 weeks from seeing where we're at.
Right.
Like, you would have taken it, and the block after next, you probably would have taken these numbers for reps.
Right.
Like,
just slow down.
Just slow down. Just, and he's new enough that he's linearly planned.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of undulation or anything like that in his plan. Like, it's pretty much just fucking straight shot up. Like, bro, you can look in your program 6 weeks from now, you're, not 6 because this program's 6 weeks, but 4 weeks from now, you're taking 10 pounds lighter for more reps.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think that's going to equate to you doing that for more than 3? You got to take it for 8. Like,
right.
10 pounds less for 8 in like 3 or 4 weeks. Like, can you just fucking save something?
Right.
For, you know what I mean? Like, the PR is planned. Just
follow the plan.
Just follow the plan, man. Like, that's great. You did that. You also didn't pause your first rep of your 165. Like, you're a powerlifter now. Like, fucking pause that fucking bench press.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe if you were doing that, it'd be a little fucking tougher and you'd get the stimulus you needed. You know what I mean? From that, like, let's pay attention to our cues, get it right, stuff like that. You might get a little bit better stimulus if you're doing things well. Like, I didn't have to see you buck your hips like a Bronco on 225. You know what I mean? Because you're about to get crushed by it. Like, I'm glad you can do it. Happy for you. Now's not the time. Don't know it. I mean, it is what it is. I'm the world's worst about not wanting now to be the time. I want now to be the time all the time. I'm like very negatively motivated. I'm always like, let's fucking see what we can do. Bad about that on bench press. Really bad about that on bench press. I get out of pocket quick on bench. But like, to attribute that, all my injuries on squat have happened because I chose to get out of pocket even by like 10 or 20 pounds, not even by a lot. Just like fucking 485s on. He's got me prescribed 45. I'm fucking putting 495 on the bar.
Right.
Oh, I'm on squat bar. I guess it's going to be 505. Like, fucking, now I'm hurt.
Whoops.
Whoops. Like, and you really are doing, 485 was playing because 45 is what I could handle and handle well.
Mm-hmm.
You knew that extra 2, 3, 4, 5% on that lift was going to be too fucking much for me that day. I know that about my athletes. That's fucking too. We've done all this stuff, ancillary stuff around this. You've just come off of a heavy deadlift, 3 or 4 days prior. We need a heavy squat, but you can't squat your best today. Yeah. We just need the stimulus. Like, just go get me the stimulus. That's it. Brandon's really the one who taught me that. Brandon, I got upset, and I know we're running long. We'll cut it off in a second, but I got upset because his program was really aggressive and really hard. I'll be honest with you. It was very fucking aggressive. Don't know that I'd play a program like that for y'all now. But I had a heavy deadlift single. At the time, it was heavy. And now it's fucking 6-8 rep max. But I had deadlift single planned at like 535, 540, something like that. My last warm-up was 495. And I hit it, put 535 on the bar, didn't fucking move it. And I was like, I almost had to text him. I was like, hey, bro. Had 535 planned today, didn't fucking break it. He's like, okay, what was your last one? I said 495. He's like, that's all we need. Don't worry about it. I was shocked. I was like, what the fuck you mean that's all we need? Like, this is
40 pounds less.
I just missed 95% of my 1 rep max. Like, I fucking needed 95. He's like, your body don't know the fucking difference between 495 and 535. You fucking pulled it. Like, that 40 pounds, stimulus is about the same. Better luck next time.
Yep.
Like, really? He's like, really, do your accessory work and leave me the fuck alone.
Stop texting me with this shit.
Like, this is not a problem. It happens.
Yep.
You'll pull it next time. I'll pull it next time. You know what I mean? It's fine. Like, probably pulled heavier. I'm sure it was, something a little bit heavier on the brand, but, just is what it is, y'all. Like, that's rants. This is going to be the rant 4.
Tangent.
The tangent 4? Is it tangent
4? Yeah, we're on 4
I feel like it's all quality information. Yeah. It was cohesive, too, for the most part.
Mostly, yeah. We could just name it the CrossFit episode.
I think I'd be surprised about how little I dumped on it, to be honest with you. Well, I mean, it's a fucking good sport. Like, it's great for your health. You just focus on the wrong things.
I've seen there's a wrestler named Seth Rollins. He did does CrossFit for most of his training. He was in good shape. Like, he wasn't like jacked, but he was like in good shape, very athletic. Like, obviously, wrestling as a sport, like
it's probably a really good plan for wrestling because of hip power, being able to have to throw people over your head, like
your jumps.
Lots of overhead strength is required for CrossFit. It's required for wrestling.
Yep.
Lots of jumping, lots of stuff. It's probably perfectly fine. S&C for wrestling. You know what I mean?
And he was, he still is one of the best wrestlers of his time. I mean, athletically, as he's gotten older, he's dipped down injuries and stuff. But like when he first started, he was nuts. Like with some of the things that he was able to do. By
the same token, I remember a running back out of Georgia, and all football fans remember. Listen to this right now will remember him because he was fucking good. A running back out of Georgia named Noshawn Marino. Fucking awesome running back. As an Auburn fan, I fucking hated his name. Noshawn Marino is a fucking awesome running back. Got drafted by the Denver Broncos, went and played in Denver. CrossFit retired him. Because it's fucking wrong for football.
Right.
He had a very incredibly talented, never fucking made it in the NFL. And it was because of horseshit fucking strength and conditioning. And it probably wasn't CrossFit in itself. It was probably poor prescription of CrossFit that fucking did it. Talk about somebody like John, what about his last name? Played for Kansas City. He actually ended up getting sued by CrossFit, but he owned CrossFit football. Fucking great for football. You know why? Because it was squat, bench press, and power clean.
Yeah.
Football prescription. And he ran a lot of sprints.
Right.
And he did a lot of things to a timer that was
athletic
movement. And it was indicative to the time on a football field. You're talking about things that would last 2 or 3 minutes and not fucking 20. Like, things like that. Like, plays in football last 20 seconds. There's no fucking reason for you to be doing a 20-minute Metcon.
Right. Yeah,
There's fucking useless. Like, but like, that guy was, and I can't believe I can't think of his name, but that guy had really fucking good CrossFit prescription for football. But it was really just at the heart of it. He used a lot of CrossFit philosophies and stuff, but at the heart of it, it was just strength and conditioning, like for football, like we've always seen it, because we know it fucking works.
Right.
Like, it worked because we knew it worked. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not because it had CrossFit in front of the name. Like, it is what it is. But I don't know. You have to be careful. And it's, like I said, it probably wasn't CrossFit, it was probably the CrossFit prescription for most Sean Marino. But there's things to consider for that. And it's like, you should really let your sport be your sport.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this, to give CrossFit credit, I just come off of whole blocks of 3 sets of 30 seconds on my fucking accessory work. Before that, it was Tabata timers on my accessory work. I have my Olympic lifter doing basically CrossFit AMRAPs for his accessory work mid-workout. There is a huge, you did it with Joe, slam balls, fucking max distance bike, heart rate training on the bike and stuff like that. Box jumps, shit like that you did with Joe. Like, there is time and a place for it in powerlifting. It's fucking valuable. Especially when you start talking about stuff that Joe knows more about, and you're talking about the manipulation of energy systems and stuff like that. Like, it's fucking valuable. CrossFit's not something that is valueless or stupid or anything like that. It's just that the prescription is wrong in most gyms.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I think
that's pretty fucking diplomatic.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking diplomatic response for me. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I agree.
Gotta do what we can do. You got dad jokes?
I can find some for sure.
I got one that Zach sent me.
Oh boy.
So it said as a news article, but it said a local man is addicted to drinking brake fluid. He claims that he can stop whenever he wants. Oh.
It's pretty good.
Thanks, Zach. Good. My only contribution to the dad jokes, not.
Let's see. Took my girlfriend to see Disney on Ice, and it sucked. It was just some old dead guy in a box.
Ooh.
I got a little tangent here. Have you watched the new Star Wars series?
No.
Have you seen all the shit that it's been getting?
All the political stuff we probably shouldn't get into on the trip.
Well, all I'll say is, like, I don't care about any of the political side of it. I care that they've ruined Star Wars, the story. They have no respect for the source material. So fuck Disney. Fuck Disney.
Fuck Disney.
They've almost entirely ruined Star Wars for me. They have come out with some really good stuff and some really bad stuff, and I'm hoping they will learn from the really bad stuff. But man, that really bad stuff is really bad. That little
tangent over with.
Yeah, tangent's over.
I was afraid of that, though, to be completely honest with you.
I was hoping the show would be good. It looked kind of cool, and the concept of it seemed cool, and then I never even started watching it. My brother was a couple episodes in. Third episode, he said, I can't do it anymore. Like, it was bad. They basically, they said Anakin wasn't the chosen one, basically. Like, non-verbally. And that was the point where I was just like, bro, you're ruining continuity. Apparently.
Shitting on our childhood. Shitting on our parents' childhood. Like, this goes back generations.
You know who Ki-Adi-Mundi is? Big head guy with the goatee. He was in the show 50 years before he was alive. Yeah, he was in the show, which took place 50 years before he was born. So
just fucking shit on everything we know.
Literally, just has no interest in the continuity, or like it was very apparent that the showrunners had no idea what Star Wars was. They'd never consumed any Star Wars media, so that's
disheartening.
Back to dad jokes.
Yeah.
I didn't last very long in my last job as a human cannonball.
Why?
I was fired.
Wah, wah, wah. Damn it.
Do you know why it's a bad idea to date a construction worker?
Why?
They screw, they nut, and they bolt.
Damn it.
What's a gravedigger's favorite element?
I do not know.
Barium. I will leave on this one. A girl called her father. This is gonna hit home, or well, not hit home. This is gonna hit hard. A girl called her father and said, "Daddy, I have a flat tire." He said, "Did you call your boyfriend?" Well, he didn't answer. "Do you have a spare?" He didn't answer either.
Damn, girl.
Oof. That's what I'm going to leave us on there.
So what do you think, before we leave, what do you think about the Haktua girl and the absolutely complete and total infiltration of the internet she managed?
I feel so bad for her. I was looking through comments of some pages, and apparently she just deleted all of her social media because she was getting harassed nonstop. And I feel so bad for her, and I feel so bad for her dad having to see that all the time, literally opening up any social media. That's what he's going to see. This is a girl
out having a good time and being funny and didn't know that there was going to be. Well, it's pretty, honestly, it kind of shows a little bit of darkness of social media. Yeah. I'm completely honest with you. Like, girl was out in Nashville having a good time, probably had some drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Of course she's going to do a fucking interview. Like, it was just a fucking good time thing. Right. Like, and she was funny as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Should have just left it as, this is funny as fuck, but you know how the internet goes. Just
they blew it up, and like, poor girl, just like, man. It's funny though.
I mean, it was funny. I got my wife's going around the house saying that shit out.
The meme's funny too, like, but it's one of those things like,
there's human beings behind all this shit.
Exactly. Right. And like, it's one thing if you're embracing it, like a long time ago, it was Overly Attached Girlfriend. You remember that? Yeah. She embraced it for a while. Bad Luck Brian didn't embrace it too much, but kind of like later on embraced it a little bit.
Scumbag Steve. He ended up being a scumbag, didn't he?
Really?
The backwards hat fur coat guy. You don't remember that meme?
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Bars your lighter, never brings it back. That's scumbag Steve.
There's a couple, but you know,
humor's came a long way because we were really entertained by some stupid shit that we get into memes, to be completely honest with you.
Memes have evolved greatly.
The Wonka meme used to just own me for some reason.
Wonka meme.
Yeah.
Like Willy Wonka?
Yeah, when he's propped up against the thing. Like,
yeah. Those still pop up to this day. I've seen those not far long ago. It's really funny when you're on Facebook and you're looking at your memories and you see old memes that you shared and you're like, damn, that's not funny. You're just like, that's really cringy. And then some of them you say, like, that's still pretty good. I'll reshare that. But that's what I do on my Facebook 90% of the time. I just reshare old memes from like 3 or 4 years ago.
They're still relevant.
If they're still good. A lot of them, like, you look back and it's like, oh yeah, COVID was a thing. Like, that was huge, wasn't it?
It was a big fucking deal. A big deal.
But we should probably wrap this up.
We should. Well, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, watch us on YouTube, part of us on YouTube.
Part of us.
Like and subscribe, leave comments, give us 5 stars on all that stuff. Follow us at Coleman_Barbell, at Nathan Skedios, at Sip It and Rip It.
Donate at PayPal.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a link somewhere.
Yeah. Give us money so we can get a Mac Mini and not a bunch of liquor.
Listen, if Chris gives us a bunch of liquor, then we will spend the money on it.
If he doesn't,
or a new microphone, depending on what ends up working out, we'll see.
I feel like we're putting some undue pressure on Chris.
Yeah, Chris, you need to give us not only liquor money but also money for a Mac Mini.
Don't do that. That makes it sound real ungrateful.
How much is a Mac Mini? I don't even
know. $699, $799.
That's a little expensive, yeah.
Yeah, that's super expensive. He does not need it.
No.
But if a lot of you want to give us a little bit to do it,
I mean, listen,
maybe feel a little less.
We got even if we had 10 listeners talking about,
we only need $100 a piece from each of you.
I was gonna say it'd be a little like $70, $80 because tax. Well, if I buy it from Target, I get a discount. Maybe 70.
Mac Mini from Target.
If they have, I don't even know if they
fucking out them either. I don't know. Yeah, the websites. You can buy fucking I don't know about Target, but on Walmart you can buy fucking whole crate engines on their website.
Walmart basically is like Amazon now in the sense that you can
you can be a seller and sell on it. Yeah,
it's fulfilled by Walmart.
Yeah, but still, pretty fucking impressive. All right, well that's the show. Bye, y'all.